Well, hi there. How are you? It's been a while since I've done a video, and I'm doing it with the sunset in the background. This is one of my favorite places to be after work. I know it's getting darker and it's getting more and more, how do I put it? The change of the seasons. How about that? So the change of the seasons is quite interesting because of the fact that in everyone's life, we have a season. We have a season for certain people in our lives. We have a certain season for certain events in our lives. Everything is a season. How long that season can be entirely up to us sometimes, but it's how we take it. Every season we have a lesson, and we can either repeat that season over and over, or we can continue that season until we learn that lesson. I was thinking, I went to Casting Crowns concert. And one of the things that Mark Hall, is that the lead singer's name? Mark Hall said, he says, a lot of people, they go to church. They go to church because they want to be fed. I hear that all the time. I used to say it myself. I go to church because I want to be fed. But you know what? He says, why are you waiting to go to church to be fed? Eat before you go. And what he means by that is read the word, study the word at home, study the word at work, study the word at wherever you're going. Get an audio Bible, put it in your car. There's no excuse today to not being able to study the Bible. If you want to get closer to God, if you want to get closer to Christ and know who he really is. Everyone knows of Christ. I don't think there's anyone I've ever talked to and say, well, who's Jesus? Who's this Christ guy everyone talks about? Why is there Christmas? Well, you know what? Everyone knows of Jesus or a little bit about who he is. But if you want to get to know Jesus, read the Bible. And these churches that are right now just trying to do these feel-good messages and everything, I applaud you. We should feel good about worshiping Christ, but it's not all about butterflies and rainbows and everything else and how we are completely saved. It's not about that. There's also risks involved. I used to ask youth group all the time, and I said, hey, do you think it's easier following Christ or harder? And every once in a while someone would go, oh no, it's easier. Okay, great. What's easy about it? You can't do anything and everything you want, because there are things you may want to do that you shouldn't do, because Christ says not to. I sin all the time. I don't mean to. And every once in a while, sometimes I'll do it and I go, oh man, but I'm not perfect. If I was perfect, I wouldn't need Jesus. But I need Jesus. I love Jesus. He died on the cross. I think about all the things that he died on the cross for me. And I think about that, and sometimes I just weep. But you know what? Christ died on the cross for you, for me. Not just the people you love, not just the people you think he should have loved. He died on the cross for everyone, even that person you can't seem to forgive. Even that person that has done atrocious things. He died on the cross for that person too. He's not slow as in we think he's slow. He's slow so that none of us may perish. Now, if we perish, that's up to us. I am sick and tired of these churches that go around and they're too busy judging their congregation. They're too busy trying to correct their congregation. They're too busy to police their congregation without worrying about their own pastors and their own leaders. There is not one leader on your board. There is not one elder on your board. There is not one person on your board as high up as you can think that has not sinned. I know tons of pastors in this valley that have sinned even today, and yet they're going to go around and try and call someone out on their sin without making amends with their sins. It says beyond reproach. That means talk to Christ. Make things right with Christ and with the person you've offended. You can try and make things right with that person that you've offended. But if they choose not to, that's up to them. But whether you try or not, that's up to you. So before you get on any of your congregation, any of them, you need to look in the mirror first and correct yourself first and get over that. The first thing you need to think about is that you are no better than anyone else. You are no different than anyone else. You are a sinner. You are fallible, just like any of your congregation. And those of you that are in congregation, I want you to think about this. Before you judge your pastor or any of the elders, you better look in the mirror too. Because it says right there in Matthew how to approach people that have sinned in the church. Follow it. Don't go around investigating before you do anything. If someone's gossiping, make sure you tell them, hey, I don't want to hear it. Talk to the person first. If you have an odds with someone, talk to that person first. That's what it says. It doesn't say talk to your neighbor. It doesn't say talk to your spouse. It doesn't say, I need someone, Yeah, okay, I understand. You all need somebody. You all need someone to bounce ideas off. I get that. But you better check yourself before you ruin a congregation, before you ruin a person, before you ruin someone's ministry. You need to look in the mirror first. Correct yourself first. Make sure that you are beyond reproach before you try and correct someone else. We need to encourage each other. We need to love each other. If we know someone's going down the wrong path, walk alongside and say, hey, look, I'm here for you. I love you. And I don't love you in that way. I love you in the way that Christ loves you, the way Christ loves me. You want to be a good Christian? Great. Start with reading the Word and following the Word. Start with treating each other with love, compassion, understanding. Start with knowing who Jesus is, not of Jesus. Because if you're correcting others while you have sin in your own life and you're not trying to correct it, you're just one of the Pharisees that are just like a brood of vipers. Jesus knows. I love you guys, and I do this from the bottom of my heart because we need to eat before we go to the banquet. Love you guys. Have a blessed day, and know I'm here for you. You can always private message me, and I'll pray for you. You are not alone in this. I love you guys. Have a blessed night.